Dwyer and WGEM News. Better together.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Dwyer. We begin tonight with a breaking news update that we first brought to you online this afternoon. A vehicle went into the water on Quincy's riverfront this afternoon. Cities across Iowa are working on their budgets for next year, but issues at the state level could affect services that residents depend on. President Trump's lawyers claim emails from the transition team were improperly turned over to special counsel Robert Mueller. New Bank of America survey says millennials are good at managing their money. The snow is falling and dangerously cold temperatures have entered the area, causing advisories to pop up left and right. The government shut down this morning, and both Democrats and Republicans continue to play the blame game. NBC's Edward Lawrence digs deeper into the chaos in Washington. A homeowner is dead after fire crews responded to a fire in Keokuk. Illinois could see more people qualify for medical marijuana. A judge in Cook County last week said untreatable pain will be added to the list of reasons for people who need the drug. There's no place like home for the holidays. A Hannibal family can now say that after getting the keys to their new home this morning. Snowfall this afternoon causing slick and icy conditions out on the roads this Super Bowl Sunday. Holiday shopping continued today, but instead of the big name stores like Kohl's or Shopko, shoppers turned their attention to local mom and pop shops. This next story I'm not making up. Missouri lawmakers are picking out a day to celebrate sliced bread.
From WGEM in high definition, this is WGEM News at 10, the Tri-State's news leader.
The state of Illinois will start accepting tax returns tomorrow. U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill of Missouri shared her thoughts about her challenger's recent Facebook post. And health officials want people to know that it's not too late to get a flu shot. But we begin tonight with a breaking news update that we first brought you on WGEM.com this morning. Fire officials in Keokuk are investigating a deadly house fire from last night. It happened at 207 North 11th Street. WGEM's Kaylee Pfeifferling was in the neighborhood earlier today and spoke with residents who say they've never seen anything like this before.
This is what the scene Pfeifferling, WGEM News.
Fire officials have not released the name of the person who died in the fire. We reached out to the fire department, but they declined our request to do an interview. There's no word on how the fire started. The state fire marshal is investigating. Now to weather, where there is snow in the forecast for the overnight hours. Let's check in with meteorologist Chelsea Smith, who's been tracking this all afternoon in our weather center. Chelsea, what can you show us?
Well, Don, we're seeing some scattered snow showers across the tri-states right now. For tomorrow, I'll let you know coming up in my full forecast.
Sounds great. Thanks for the update, Chelsea. Illinois residents can now file their tax returns starting tomorrow. Illinois Department of Revenue says the fastest and most secure way to receive tax refunds is to file taxes electronically and request direct deposit into a checking or savings account. The department says you will get your direct deposit refunds in about a month. The Hawkeye State has joined the immigration conversation after a new bill was created last week. The expansive enforcement bill is scheduled for at least one vote this week in the Republican-controlled State House. It would force law enforcement to hold a jailed person for possible deportation if requested by federal agents. Legal experts say holding people longer than normal is unconstitutional. The bill is framed also as a ban on so-called sanctuary cities. Supporters say the bill focuses on illegal immigrants accused of crimes, but legislation has a wide scope and raises questions about local government control, and the bill could force the state into costly litigation. U.S. Senator Claire McCaskill from Missouri says she doesn't take her challenger seriously after making comments about women. McCaskill said after a Friday campaign event in Columbia that she feels sorry for Republican Cortland Sykes. In a Facebook post, he says he wants his fiancée to make him dinner every night and doesn't want girls to grow up to be career-obsessed banshees who don't care about family and are manophobic, hell-bent feminist she-devils. Sykes faces an uphill battle to get the Republican nomination. Attorney General Josh Hawley is considered the frontrunner. Missouri is collecting data through a statewide drug monitoring program to identify doctors and clinics that overprescribe painkillers. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reports that Governor Eric Greitens signed an executive order in July to create the program targeting what he calls pill mills. The state began collecting opioid prescription information last month. About 500 Missouri residents died from overdosing on prescription painkillers in 2016. It's not only a problem in Missouri. Dozens of tissue samples from hunted deer in Iowa have been turned over to be tested for chronic wasting disease. The samples are part of a 9-day collection effort by deer hunters and state officials. Chronic wasting disease is a neurological disease that is always fatal for the animals. The disease first appeared in 2013. Health officials in Illinois say there's still time to get that flu shot. Doctors say the most common influenza circulating in the state and across the United States is H3N2, which causes severe illness. A flu shot will protect you and people around you from getting sick. The Public Health Department also recommends the 3 C's: clean, cover, and contain. SIU School of Medicine has opened a new outpatient clinic in Springfield to provide ear, nose, and throat care. The school has 1 location in Quincy and now has spent $2.2 million to create a 22,000 square foot clinic in a building that Memorial Health Systems owns. Officials say that the facility has the region's largest hearing and balance program and provides treatment for allergy and sinus issues, hearing loss, and other programs. The work of African-American artists was on display in Chicago this weekend. The Black Creativity Gala took place at the Museum of Science and Industry on Lakeshore Drive in Chicago. Governor Bruce Rauner and a bunch of community leaders say that this was just a great night to showcase the great work of educators and students across the state.
The wonders of science. The state of Illinois deserves to have experience firsthand.
Organizers say they had the best turnout this year. Renovations to the Illinois Executive Mansion in Springfield should be complete by the spring. Work started in June last year on the privately funded $15 million restoration of the house that's been the governor's residence since 1855. General contractors say that crews should wrap up by mid-May. The project includes a first-floor visitors center for large student groups. A massive pileup in Chicago killed 1 person and injured a dozen. A total of 8 cars collided on the Congress Parkway last night. Investigators have not yet figured out what started it all. Drivers described the collision as intense. Several cars had been reduced to even mangled metal. A man was killed in western Iowa last night when a tractor flipped into a ditch and caught fire. It happened last night in rural Pottawatomie County near the town of Crescent. Officials say the victim was trapped inside the tractor when it went up in flames. Investigators in the sheriff's department are trying to determine what caused the tractor to flip. A dangerous game turned deadly last night in Memphis. The viral game is called the No Lackin Challenge. It's where 2 people film themselves pulling guns on each other without pulling the trigger. Unfortunately, police say 21-year-old Sherman Lackland forgot the rules and pulled the trigger, fatally shooting the other participant in the head. He was charged with aggravated assault, reckless endangerment, and unlawful possession of a weapon. A new Bank of America survey says millennials are good at managing their money. According to the bank's Better Money Habits report, nearly half of the millennials surveyed have at least $15,000 in savings. Researchers say that's because millennials are more likely to live at home. And compared to older generations, more millennials have a budget and they actually stick to it. The White House is pushing back tonight against a report last week in the New York Times that said President Trump ordered the firing of special counsel Robert Mueller. Despite that, the president is focused on the first State of the Union address Tuesday night. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has more.
The White House Sunday disputing
Coming up on WGEM News.
We go back to the Oakley Lindsay Center tonight for the second day of Great River Eagle Days this weekend. Plus, Super Bowl Sunday is next week, but the big party was at Quincy University this morning for the annual Chili Cook-Off. We'll have the sights and sounds from the event after the break on WGEM News at 10, the Tri-State's news leader.